And I also want to add to the conversation former federal prosecutor and CNN legal analyst Shan Wu and CNN political correspondent Sarah Murray. Great to see you guys. So, Shan, I definitely want to get to Manafort because I've got 1.5 million questions, but I do want to start with the news about Rod Rosenstein. As Laura was laying out, if Rosenstein was telling people that he wouldn't leave that he was not going to leave his post until the Mueller investigation is complete or close enough, and that is the reporting that we're hearing from Evan Perez. Does that mean that's exactly what we're looking at, that this thing's wrapping up?
I'm not really sure we can draw that strong of an inference. I mean, he certainly made those statements. We don't know if behind the scenes, he had to change due to his own motivations or if there's pressure from the White House. I mean, to me, this is the White House clearing the decks. They're getting ready for the new AG to come in. Barr has no interest in having a holdover Deputy Attorney General. Barr himself, we should remember, once was a Deputy Attorney General overseeing the criminal sections. So he feels like he's got that well in hand. He's not going to recuse no more than Whitaker did. And I think he's very likely to be confirmed, given that he is a former Attorney General of the United States.
And Shimon, Laura was reporting that Lindsey Graham is now saying that he's basically had assurances that from Barr that he's not going to stop Bob Mueller in finishing the investigation, and also going as far to say that Barr told him that he'd follow procedure while erring on the side of transparency about sharing Mueller's final report to Congress. I do wonder, kind of in what you're hearing about how much, if Barr wanted to, how much he could influence the investigation, or maybe the report is maybe the most important part.
Probably right now would be the report, because everything that's involved with this investigation is well on its way. We don't get the sense that there are any new aspects of this investigation that are ongoing. There's not like there's new information that's come into Mueller or the Department of Justice. The thing is, though, it could be very well that once and if Barr is confirmed, that we get into February here and this entire investigation, when he takes over the Department of Justice, can be over, right? Mueller could be finished, his report complete, and it would just be sitting on his desk. And then the determination will need to be made as to what becomes public. It's customary, right? I think that the Department of Justice doesn't like to reveal certain information. Comey got himself in trouble by doing so. What will Barr do? What will the new Department of Justice under Barr, what will they do? And that's going to become sort of the topic of conversation as we move forward once there is a new Attorney General.
And you can be sure a big topic during his confirmation hearings next week.
That's
One
right.
quick note, Shan, I did want to ask you about. The Mueller grand jury was just granted a 6-month extension. When you kind of look at the timing of what we're looking at here, you've got Rosenstein, he could be out in weeks. You've got Barr coming in. The assumption is that the Mueller investigation is wrapping up, but then the grand jury is just granted a 6-month extension. How does that fit into this?
It's pretty customary for prosecutors to err on the side of caution in extending the life of the grand jury. It's a big pain for them if the grand jury expires. They have to read in a new grand jury, meaning they'd have to read in transcripts. So they're going to want to preserve that for the possibility of further work. And it seems like there is further work going on. So I don't know if we can tie that too tightly to the report issue, but they're still working on things.
And in terms of that further work, Sarah, then there is Paul Manafort, sharing polling data with a close business associate with ties to Russian intelligence during the campaign. I want to play for everybody how one Democrat and one Republican reacted to this news since it's come out.
This is a little bit akin to coming on a crime scene with a dead body and a bullet hole in it, and standing over to Paul Manafort with a gun in his hand and smoke coming out the barrel. He colluded, he colluded, he colluded.
But communicating with someone about polling data and what's going is no secret thing in that sense. So I'm, again, looking for that as the smoking gun, I think would be a pretty big stretch.
Sarah, what is the universe of possibility of why Manafort would share this?
Well, that's the big question. I mean, why would this Russian associate be interested in the campaign's polling data? Why would Paul Manafort have any reason to share it with this guy? And that's what I think sort of the question is that Mueller probably has the answer to, and gets to the heart of, was there actually something here that amounts to collusion? I mean, was Kilimnik interested in this information, Konstantin Kilimnik, because he wanted to share it with Russian military intelligence, because Russian military intelligence wanted to know where to direct their troll farm efforts, where to direct direct some of their hacking efforts, what kind of states or what kind of voters to target where it would be most effective. Now, the documents we have right now don't lay that out, but it's certainly a possibility. And if you drew all those lines there, that's something that could amount to collusion. I just don't think that we have the full picture of this yet. That's something, that Robert Mueller is still working on and will make public whenever he feels like it, Kate.
Or maybe not, considering how this all went down. Shan, I cannot get off of this point. How does this happen in such an important investigation and case that this was accidentally revealed in a court document? And what does this mean to the special counsel's investigation now that this is out there?
Well, it's certainly a tantalizing little bit of hidden pieces of the puzzle that weren't meant to be revealed. I will introduce just a tantalizing question if it really was that inadvertent. This is not a simple question of they used the wrong color highlighter. This was an electronic redaction through Adobe Acrobat, and apparently only the Pro version disallows this thing where if you cut and paste it into Word, it appears. So it's a little bit of a technical issue. It's very hard to imagine that at this caliber of lawyering, with this much on the table in terms of high stakes, they didn't have very good IT people doing that. So that's quite puzzling that would emerge. I mean, it seems just like a basic IT mistake. Someone didn't give them the right instruction manual.
I mean, honestly, we're now going to get to the place where, I blame Adobe. I'm definitely blaming Adobe on this one. Right. Sarah, finish this up for me. You've been following this so closely. What questions does this now raise for everyone? Because this is the clearest sign, if it's a sign yet, of coordination.
Right, absolutely. And so, the question is, why was Paul Manafort sharing this information? Why was he still in touch with Konstantin Kilimnik? Did Kilimnik want something from him? Did Manafort want something from the Russians? And who else knew about all of these interactions? Was this something that was confined to Paul Manafort and his deputy, Rick Gates, or is this something that spread to other levels of the campaign? Is this going to be sort of the beginning of the answer to whether there was any collusion, or is this also still a small part? Remember, we still have questions about what's going to happen to Roger Stone. We still have questions about whether there was any actual foreign money that made its way into the campaign. We've seen little inklings of these things along the way, but we've still seen no sort of broader answer or broader narrative on those issues from Robert Mueller. So, this may be winding down, but there are still a lot of big unanswered questions out there.
One unanswered question, one answered question now, actually, is that this, yes, Shenwu, is tantalizing. And yes, I blame Adobe and I blame you, Shimon. Great to see you guys. Thank you.